Can you believe we started Interview Boss in 2021?
Not really. It's insane. That's a lot of episodes and a lot of hours of talking.
Oh my gosh, it is. And if you're scrolling through all of our episodes, you might scroll straight past something that you really, really needed.
Yes, we're always getting messages from people asking us to do an episode on something, and I'm like, we already have.
So we've put together playlists to help you find the episodes that are exactly what you need, suited to your situation.
They're all categorized. If you're applying for jobs, we have episodes about resumes, cover letters, job ads. If you've been offered your dream job, we have episodes on resigning, exit interviews, and how to impress at your new company.
And we even have a very special playlist that's very popular for if you have an interview coming up immediately and you need just our most recommended hard-hitting episodes between now and then.
For all our last-minute listeners. It's all there for you. You can browse by category and check out all the playlists at interviewboss.com.au/podcast. This is for the she'll be right attitude.
The chill people out there.
Yeah, the chillers. We're trying to put the fear of God in them a little bit. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Interview Boss. My name is Emma. I'm a radio journalist who's teamed up with my sister to give you advice, inspiration, and support when you're looking for a new job. Sarah is a HR and recruitment professional, and together we're excited to give you all the tips, tricks, and behind-the-scenes knowledge to help you in your career.
Hey, Em, and welcome back, everyone. Em, who are we giving a big fat shoot your shot shout out to this week?
To Hey, who bought us 6 coffees and had the nicest message to send. They said, to Emma and Sarah, I'm so grateful for you. I trained and worked in a very traditional field for a few years before going into a startup. I'd always wanted to work in tech and never had the opportunity to find out if it was right for me. I loved it, but realized through this career pivot what my true professional loves are and made the decision to return to my previous field, but with the tech focus. In previous roles, I was badly scarred by bullying and even, trigger warning, assault, where both HR and managers told me that it was just something that happened in the industry and I had to deal with it.
Oh,
awful. You should never, ever accept that. I was made to feel worthless, and I truly believed I was. I'd also held 2 positions in 2 years, and I was so worried about how people saw me. When I started interviewing, I was really disheartened by how interviewers treated my unconventional experience. They saw it as a poor choice. Some even suggested I would have to be on a lower salary because it didn't count as relevant work experience in their eyes. At first, I felt quite sorry for myself and wallowed, but then I found you. Your podcast helped me take ownership of my entire career trajectory and taught me how to highlight how all of my work experience is not just transferable, but meaningful. I loved your episode about taking a dream role off the pedestal. Going into my interviews, this was an absolute game changer. It meant I could just focus on being myself and treating the interview like an opportunity to learn about the role and why I might like it, instead of treating it as a dream role I needed to be perfect for. I'm happy to report I accepted a great role and I'm going in with realistic expectations, eyes wide open, but also excitement and happiness about the experience overall. I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, I love that. We have been getting so much love on our Taking Your Role Off the Pedestal episode. I can't remember the exact title, but if you scroll through looking for the word pedestal or you go on our website and you can use a search function, you definitely need to listen to that episode if you haven't already. So many people are saying that was the thing that transformed their whole mindset. Doesn't that just blow your mind that what people are looking for, they think they're looking for tips, but actually the mindset thing was the game changer?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't realize at the time how powerful the episode was, but literally in the last month or so, all the messages have been talking about that. And I'm like, wow, we really did something there, didn't we?
I know, yeah. That's always the way. We never know the ones that are going to really land with everyone. It's often the mindset ones. Now, if you are a bit stuck like Hey, and the episodes just aren't cutting it and you need a bit more help, check out all of our support services at interviewboss.com.au/coaching. You can check out our interview academy where you can get started immediately, have lifetime access to go through at your own pace, and get prepped before your interview. Or if you want a little bit of personal advice, you can check out my one-on-one sessions. I do those with people all around the world. And if you've got a question for us, you've got feedback for us, there's a particular episode you loved, let us know about it. Follow us on Instagram and then slide into our DMs or send us an email or something. And maybe we'll be featuring an episode inspiration by you.
Yes, today's episode is quite unique. I'm excited for this one. You've been stewing on this for a little while, but we're going to be talking about all the reasons why doing amazing in your interview will pay dividends instead of just doing a good enough job to get the job.
Yes, it's kind of like getting the job is just the beginning for all of the amazing outcomes you can have for doing well in your interview. Now, you might be tempted to think, I only just need to land the job. I don't need to prep, any further than that. If I've already gotten the job, great, that's it, game over. That's all I needed to do. But who is this episode not for today?
This is not for you if you have already put in 150% to your job prep. If you're pulling your hair out, you're like, I've done all the things, and now you're telling me that this pressure to do amazing and not just good, this is not for you. Skip.
Yeah, that's right.
Come back to this when you've got a bit more chill time.
If you are an anxious person, if you are a bit of a perfectionist already, this may not be the episode for you. But this is for you if you're like, I want a little bit of advice, but it's going to be fine. I already know what they're talking about. Yeah. I'm not going to write these down. I'm not going to actually practice them. Yeah, I've got some ideas from this podcast. I'm going to be fine. This episode is for you because I want to change your mind on all the things that are possible. This interview, yes, is the opportunity to land a job, but it's also the opportunity to do way more than that, and we're going to get into it. So what are the benefits, Em? What's one of the benefits you can get if you do incredible, amazing, such a good job in your interview?
Well, they're more likely to love you and just genuinely really like you. If you do good enough to get the job, they're like, yeah, look, they're the best person for the job. We've made a good choice, compared to, oh my God, they were just incredible. They were amazing. They were so nice. I can't wait for them to start. Like, they're going to be genuinely stoked to welcome you on the team.
And they like you as a person almost because you've connected really well. You've told your story. You've been honest. You've prepped. They actually really connect with who you are. I think that's just number one. The next thing I think that can happen is that because of all those things, you might get better communication throughout the process. So we talk about being ghosted, having to wait to hear back, all of that kind of stuff. If you interview incredibly well, the recruiter, the HR person, the manager, whoever it is that's dealing with coming back to you, they might come back to you much quicker. How many times have we heard, and it's not always the case, so don't freak out, it doesn't mean anything, but how many times have we heard, they said I'd hear back in a week, but then they called me straight after the interview?
Yeah, 100%. They just couldn't wait.
Yes, right? Because you've inspired them so much that you've done so well that not only are you going to get the job, but they want to offer you the job immediately, as soon as possible. So that can be one of the outcomes that you can be hoping for. And again, I'm already in the head of the listener who's being like, but if that happens, does that mean I didn't do amazing? No, these are just possible outcomes, right? You can't control whether any of these happen or not. You might do amazing and they don't call you straight after the interview. But those things open up to you when you have focused on putting a lot of effort in.
Yeah, enough disclaimers. This is for the she'll be right attitude.
The chill people out there.
Yeah, the chillers. We're trying to put the fear of God in them a little bit. No, kidding. So the other benefit that I think is the most powerful is that they can change the entire role for you. We heard from Kendra just last week, who wrote into us and said that after she was not having a lot of success, she found us and then she started to answer each question with using her best bits and be a storyteller. And she was saying how much that transformed her outlook on interviews. She said that her best bits were able to show the interviewers the unique value she would bring to the table. And after an introductory conversation, the hiring leaders took a step back and actually completely changed the function of the role so that it aligned with her specific skill sets, customizing the entire role so they could hire her.
Incredible, right? And this stuff wouldn't have happened if she didn't prep those best bits, deliver her value really well, and not think about changing herself to the job, but coming across as her true value that she could deliver, that meant that they were like, oh, wow, well, we want you. You probably don't align with all the stuff here, but what if we gave you this and we gave that stuff to someone else and they custom designed a role for her? Incredible.
Imagine if she had have given the standard cookie cutter answer that those idiots on TikTok tell you to do, where they're like, no, this is the only script you should say.
Yeah.
Well, and a heap of buzzwords. Like, she got that whole customization because she was so personal and talked about her own experience.
Incredible. You would never end up with that outcome. And I bet it even shocked her to think that that was even possible.
Also, you could get really great and helpful feedback. If they really like you, but it's not an awesome mix, they're going to be more likely to reach out because they liked you so much as a person. They want to help you out. They don't want to stuff you around. And this was exactly what happened to Emily. So she said, "Hey girls, I just wanted to say thanks for your relatable and easily digestible advice. I had a recent interview that I was super nervous for because I knew I'd be a fairly inexperienced candidate compared to others going for the same role, and the interest was high. You helped me to think more laterally around the types of responses to consider for behavioural questions and really plan out my tell me about why you're here. I felt a lot more confident going into the interview on the day, and whilst I didn't get the role, I've received great feedback that my interview was excellent and I answered questions better than far more experienced candidates, just that this role they needed someone who was a little further into their career, and gave me some tips on how to expand my experience for future roles that come up. So thank you."
Isn't that incredible? Like, the thing is, we already know, if you listen to us, you know, having an incredible interview doesn't mean that they're not going to be like, oh, well, you're great, but the experience doesn't fit. Sorry, we just need someone who's just done these kinds of things. Or we really love you, but hey, we're looking for someone who has more focus in this area or is better at this or whatever. But when you do well, they want you to succeed later on, and they're thinking, oh, not right now, not the right fit, but we really want to give you practical tips, as opposed to the generic like, oh, we went with someone more experienced. Like Emily's saying here, it was genuinely really practical advice for how she could get it next time.
How she could bridge the gap between where she is and getting that job. How good would she have felt after that, knowing genuinely in herself, first of all, she feels so that she did her best, she did herself justice, and then to have that validated that, hey, although there was someone out there that was more suited to the role with experience, you were amazing and you interviewed so good. That's a win all round.
And you can't interview your way out of not having as much experience. Like you just can't. Like sometimes they just need that. But incredible, incredible outcomes.
Interview Academy might be the perfect thing you're looking for. Interview Academy is a course Sarah has been working on after delivering hundreds of interview coaching sessions and getting incredible results.
But unfortunately, I'm only one gal living in an Aussie time zone who works a day job, and all of that mean I can't help everyone one-on-one, which drove me crazy.
So for over a year, Sarah's been working on turning all of those amazing lessons into an on-demand, step-by-step interview prep course. We hold your hand through the entire thing,
and you can do it at home in your own time and get instant access right now. Check it out at interviewboss.com.au/interview-academy. The link is in the show notes. We've talked about this before on other episodes, but another benefit of doing incredible in your interview is you might get to be the runner-up or the backup candidate. Again, it might be in a situation where, let's say they offered a role to someone else and Emily was this like junior who was, you know, an option for them, but they wanted someone else. Well, maybe that person doesn't work out or there's a new role that comes up. They're the backup candidate. Incredible. We've talked about how great that is. Having that good of an interview might put you in that place where they're like, you're not just the one that they're going to say thanks, but no thanks. They're actually keeping you in mind for if something changes.
And we all know I am a backup candidate success story. So big advocate for this one. Good things come from that. You also could get offered a higher salary or your negotiations are easier, particularly if you might be interviewing elsewhere. They really want to make sure they get you in the competitive market. Hey, I know we said this was going to be the salary. We want you and we want to give you 25% more. Like epic, epic stuff.
Yeah. And you can see how this happens. Like I've seen people get offered the job where it's just like nobody was a real standout. They interviewed a bunch of people. This person was better in a couple of ways. They offer them the job. They're not that stoked about it. They get the job. If that person then like negotiates, like they're like, oh, yeah, you know, like the heart's not in the offer to begin with. So you're starting from a more difficult position if you then want to negotiate. So you want to be the standout.
But if you're an insane employee and then you want Friday hours off, yep, sure. Do you need Tuesday mornings off as well? We'll take you. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Superstars get accommodations. Yes, that's right. Okay, I love this one. This one is really rogue as a bit of an example, but I saw this on a clip somewhere and I was like, oh my God, this is an example for this episode. As Emma said at the beginning, I've been thinking about this topic for a while, just mulling it over until we were ready to kind of do it. Now, everyone will be talking about you before you start. If you have this incredible interview and then you get offered the job and it's in the countdown to your starting, people will be discussing you around the office. Your new colleagues will be excited to see you come in, excited to have you start. Now, the example from this is from The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, I don't want anyone taking their lessons of how to be, you know, in the workplace from The Wolf of Wall Street, but it's a very entertaining movie. You probably remember this scene if you've seen the movie. It's Jordan's first day on Wall Street and he's brought in by this guy who basically tells him he has to dial the phone and call as many people as he can, like 500 calls a day or something like that. And he's told, you are lower than pond scum. You're just the person who dials the numbers. And then Mark Hanna comes in, and that's Matthew McConaughey's character. And he goes, I'm the senior broker. Don't worry about that little guy. I'm in charge here. And he says to Jordan, now, did you really pitch a stock in your job interview? He's never met him before. He wasn't in his job interview, but he's heard Jordan pitched a stock in his job interview. This is the guy. Jordan says, yeah, I did. And then Mark Hanna says, I fucking love that. And then says lunch today. He's invited to lunch on his first day. And that's where we know that that thing happens, with the, oh, I can't do it.
What?
You know you don't know that scene?
No.
Where they're at lunch and they start chanting?
No, not familiar with that.
Oh my gosh. Everybody who's listening to this is like, Emma, get with the program. Have you ever seen Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, but not enough to have memorized chanting from it. Clearly
That's
not
like
enough.
The iconic scene from that movie. Anyway, all because the interview was so good. Now, I'm not condoning doing something to stand out and being really extreme or different or whatever. It's kind of a fun example, but this genuinely happens. I've seen it where your reputation precedes you and people are so excited for you to start because they've heard about, oh my God, is this the person? Is that the one that you said that was just amazing that we're so excited to have? Oh my God, hello, welcome. I've heard everything about you. Incredible.
On a more realistic level, this happens when, have you ever been like smooched and squeezed by your partner's auntie that you've never met and they're just like, oh, it's so good to meet you. I've heard so much about you. Oh, you lovely girl. Same thing. I'm so great. So all the family's been having a cup of teas and talking about how great I am. And then they're delighted to meet me.
Yeah, they're the one that you've heard all these things about. Exactly. And like, the boss has been talking about you. Someone said, oh my God, that was an incredible interview. Like we do this when I have an interview with someone or even if I get off the phone with someone. I do this all the time just to make it fun if I'm ever recruiting. I get off the phone and I go, that's the person. Stop the search, everybody. We've found them. I guarantee you that's the person. And I still keep interviewing and looking for other people. But when my colleagues are like, oh, like why? What did they say? Oh, they've done this and they've done this and they've done this. Like I want to tell someone because I'm excited that I think I've found the perfect fit. You want to put the effort in so that might be you.
Also, another perk is if the company refers you to someone else they know. So is this as in you haven't got the job, it's not worked out this time, but you know who you'd be awesome for? My mate Danny, who works for the competitor or in this other industry, my friend in recruiting, she could hook you up. I think you'd be perfect. They want to see you succeed.
Yeah. That's right. Because you've connected with them. They understand what you're good at and what you're bad at and what you've done. Like you've communicated your value really well. And even if that doesn't align with this particular job right now at this time, they may still go, oh, but I have a really clear idea of what this person can do. What about this other role? Like this has happened to me before. I've been asked by someone, hey, do you know any recruiters? And I've said, yeah, actually, we had an interview with someone recently and they weren't quite right for us, but I actually think that they'd really fit for what you need them to do. Let me give them a call. I don't think it ended up up working out. But like that introduction was absolutely made.
Definitely. You could also get given the best projects and opportunities. If you're coming in having impressed and the first day there's a lot of sort of admin-y, boring stuff, they're going to go, hey, we want you working on this massive marketing campaign. Let's hit the ground running. We want your genius ideas. Don't worry about these mundane tasks. We'll offload them.
That's exactly right. They want to look after you. They want to set you up for success. The other thing that's kind of in that same vein is that your manager already thinks really highly of you on day one. So there's less work that you have to do to kind of prove yourself and get their opinion of you up. They already think this person's amazing. And so all you have to do is kind of live up to that, not to start from, oh, they think I'm here and I have to kind of work to beat that. I don't know. I'm not explaining it very well, but I'm sure people understand. Now, I don't know, Em, do you reckon it landed? Like, I feel like I've been hyping this episode up in my head for so long. I really think that this is a game changer for those people who are like, oh, I don't need to practice. I don't need to actually write down my best bits. I've got the ideas in my head or whatever. This is your sign to put in the effort and do the prep. Now, if you're like me and you're like, find interview prep a little bit hard and you're like easy to procrastinate, what exactly do I need to do? I'm staring at a blank page. Do you get that reference? Staring at a blank page.
Yeah.
Before me. Open up the dirty window.
Yeah.
Anyway, then I think that you need to check out our Interview Academy. If you have decided I can do basic prep on my own, but I need to know what incredible prep looks like, go and check it out, interviewboss.com.au. I don't plug it very much. You guys know this. You don't have to do it, obviously. But if you want every single step covered, I think you should check it out.
There you go. Put in the work. It will pay dividends. I know it's easy to get bogged down in how overwhelming it all is, particularly if you're interviewing at multiple places. But just remember, it's not just about the interview. If you get this job, you're setting yourself up for the first 3 months and lifetime reputation there.
That's so true. It's so much bigger than just getting the offer. I love this. Thanks so much for listening to Interview Boss. If you like hearing the sound of our voices, hit that follow button in Apple or Spotify, or better yet, tell someone else about the show. That's how we can hit the charts and help even more people. To see what we look like behind the scenes and to check out some clips for the show, some savable advice, chuck us a follow on Instagram at Interview Boss.
We've been your job search besties and helped you in some way. There's a cool way you can support the show. Shout us a virtual coffee.
We get a huge kick out of reading all of your success stories. Head to buymeacoffee.com/interviewboss and shout us a cuppa.
If you keep us caffeinated, we can keep the content coming.